How you begin your day matters more than most people realize. Before the rush of notifications, deadlines, and daily distractions take over, there is a window of silence, a sacred space. And what you choose to do with that space can define the tone, mindset, and strength you carry into the world. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor of Rome, knew this intimately. Each morning, before tending to the empire, he returned to his journal, in what we now call meditations. Marcus wrote reminders to himself, not as proclamations to others, but as quiet reinforcements of stoic wisdom. His words echo across centuries because they were forged in the fire of daily life. Stress, power, responsibility, and pain. They are real. They are timeless. What if you could start your morning like you did? What if your first thoughts weren't driven by urgency or anxiety, but by clarity, virtue, and resolve? In this video, we will walk through a stoic morning routine, deeply inspired by the daily reflections of Marcus Aurelius himself. This is not just about waking up early or checking off a to-do list. It's about grounding yourself in principles that sharpen the mind, strengthen the soul, and bring peace to the heart. You will learn how to integrate reflection, intention, mindfulness, and physical discipline, so that you begin each day not as a victim of the world, but as a wise participant in it. Every part of this routine draws directly from the Stoic values Marcus lived by: awareness, courage, justice, and self-control. Whether you're a long-time student of Stoicism or you're simply looking for a better way to start your day, this guide will help you build a morning practice rooted in ancient wisdom, yet deeply relevant to the modern world. Let's begin the day the way Marcus did, with purpose, stillness, and strength. Part 1. The Stoic Philosophy, a foundation for your morning routine. Before we dive into what a Stoic morning looks like, we must understand the soil it grows from. Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it's a way of living. And for Marcus Aurelius, it was a compass he returned to each morning to guide his thoughts, actions, and responses. At its heart, Stoicism teaches that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can always control how we respond. It focuses on 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These are not lofty ideals meant for saints or scholars. They are tools for the real world, for everyday people navigating hardship, temptation, loss, and uncertainty. Marcus Aurelius didn't live in a monastery. He was the most powerful man on earth. Yet he battled grief, betrayal, illness, and war, and he still wrote to himself, over and over again, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is where the Stoic morning begins. It doesn't begin with ambition. It begins with grounding. Your first thoughts in the morning are crucial. They shape your emotional tone for the rest of the day. If you wake up and immediately reach for your phone, scroll the news, or sink into emails, your mind gets hijacked. You're reacting to the world before you've chosen how to meet it. The Stoics teach the opposite. Start with the mind, not the noise. A Stoic morning routine, therefore, isn't about doing more. It's about doing with intention. It's a daily return to your values, your inner clarity, and your higher self. And Marcus Aurelius modeled this by reminding himself, often in the early morning, that life is short, that people may wrong you, and that you must rise to meet each day with reason and virtue, not resentment or ego. By anchoring yourself in Stoic thought from the start of your day, you become less reactive and more reflective. You carry a calm center into every storm. And that's not just helpful, it's powerful. This practice is especially important in our modern world. Life moves faster than ever. Our attention is pulled in 1,000 directions, but wisdom remains the same. And if you can hold on to even a thread of it in the morning, you'll find it easier to carry dignity, purpose, and composure through the rest of the day. In the sections ahead, we'll break down how to build a routine like Marcus Aurelius, one that quiets the noise, centers the soul, and reminds you what really matters. Because the world doesn't need more people who wake up stressed. It needs more people who wake up stoic. Part 2. Waking with awareness, beginning the day with presence. When Marcus Aurelius opened his eyes each morning, He didn't rush into the noise of the world. He paused. He turned inward. In Meditations, he wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This is where the Stoic morning truly begins, not with tasks, but with presence. Modern life pulls us in the opposite direction. The alarm rings. Notifications flash. The mind races ahead to problems that haven't even happened yet. But Stoicism asks us to resist that pull, to begin the day not by escaping into activity, but by arriving fully into the present moment. Waking with awareness means choosing not to be swept away by anxiety the moment the day starts. It's about gently bringing your mind into alignment with the fact that you are here, now alive, and that simple truth in Stoic thought is enough to begin the day with gratitude and strength. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that each new day is a gift, not a guarantee. He wrote about the shortness of life, not to create fear, but to encourage presence. When you realize that each day is a limited resource, you start to treat it with more respect. You start to treat your time, your mind, and your focus as sacred. So, how do you bring this into your routine? It starts the moment you wake up, before reaching for your phone, before checking the clock. Sit with your breath. Notice it. Feel the weight of the sheets, the rhythm of your body, the stillness of early light. These small moments of awareness are where inner peace is born. Then ask yourself, what kind of day do I want to live? Not what you have to do, but how you want to show up. This single question shifts your mindset from reaction to intention, and Stoicism is all about that shift. Marcus often reflected on the inevitability of challenges. He didn't wake up expecting life to be easy. In fact, one of his most famous entries says, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty." Why? Because when you anticipate difficulty, you are not thrown off by it. You are ready. This is not pessimism, it's preparation. It's how a Stoic begins the day with eyes open and heart steady. Waking with awareness also helps you observe the initial tone of your mind. Are you tense, anxious, restless? Noticing these feelings without judgment gives you the power to respond rather than react. It's in that space, between stimulus and response, that your freedom lies. A Stoic morning is not just about calm, it's about clarity. And clarity starts the moment you choose to be here fully. So tomorrow, before the day takes you, take a breath. Remember Marcus. Remember that presence is not something you find. It's something you return to. This is the first step in living with intention. Waking not just to the world, but to yourself. Part 3. Applying Stoic virtues to your morning. To craft a Stoic morning routine inspired by Marcus Aurelius, we must go deeper than habits and hacks. We must begin with the foundation of Stoicism itself, its 4 cardinal virtues. These are not abstract ideals. They are guideposts for how to live well, especially in the early hours of the day when your mind is most open and your direction is still forming. Marcus Aurelius did not have time for luxury or indulgence. He ruled an empire, raised children, faced betrayals, battled illness, and endured war. Yet every morning, he reminded himself of these 4 core virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, and sought to live by them. Let's walk through how each virtue can shape your morning and set the tone for a life of inner peace and outer strength. Wisdom, beginning the day with clear judgment. Wisdom for a Stoic is not about knowing everything. It's about knowing what matters. It's about seeing clearly. In Meditations, Marcus constantly asked himself, is this in my control? Is this aligned with nature and reason? Am I being led by truth or by emotion? Each morning, you have the opportunity to ask yourself similar questions. A moment of silence, a few minutes of journaling, or even just a calm cup of coffee where you think intentionally, what are the most important things I need to do today? What can I let go of? This is not just planning, it's discernment. It's cutting through the clutter of the day before it begins. Starting with wisdom means you don't rush. You don't get lost in noise. You move with clarity and purpose. Try this. Write down 3 guiding principles for the day. Not your tasks, your truths. For example, focus only on what I can control. Respond to challenges with calm, not chaos. Speak less, listen more. Let wisdom be the first voice you hear in the morning, not your worries. Courage, stepping into the day with strength. Life is full of uncertainty. Marcus Aurelius knew this well. But courage, he believed, is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to face discomfort with resolve. Morning is when many of us feel the pull of avoidance, the desire to stay in bed, put off hard conversations, or procrastinate on the things that truly matter. The Stoic trains the mind to lean into difficulty, not away from it. As you start your day, ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What challenge would I face today if I were brave? This doesn't mean being reckless. It means being honest. Courage can be as simple as choosing to have the hard conversation, or getting up to run when the body wants to stay still, or writing the first page of that project you've been afraid to begin. In your morning reflections, Marcus would remind you, you have the power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Let courage move you from intention to action. Justice, living in alignment with your responsibilities. Justice, for the Stoics, is not just about laws or courts. It's about doing what is right for the whole, living as a responsible and ethical human being. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about his role as a Roman emperor not as a privilege, but a duty. He saw himself as a servant of others, called to act with integrity in every decision. So what does this mean for your morning? It means asking, who depends on me today? What responsibilities do I carry? Not just for myself, but for others. Justice in your routine might look like preparing your mind to show up fully for your family, your team, your community. It might mean taking 5 quiet minutes to consider, how can I be fair in my decisions today? Where can I lead with compassion, not ego? This virtue anchors you in the bigger picture. It lifts your morning above the level of self-interest and roots it in service. And as Marcus reminds us, what is not good for the hive is not good for the bee. Temperance, beginning with balance and restraint. Temperance is perhaps the most underrated of the Stoic virtues, but it is essential, especially in the morning. In a world that pushes urgency, indulgence, and overstimulation, temperance calls for something different, balance. For Marcus, this meant rising early even when the bed was warm. It meant avoiding distraction. It meant not needing more than what the moment provided. Temperance is the ability to say, this is enough. In your morning, this could look like setting a boundary around your technology. It could be a quiet meal without screens. It could mean choosing calm instead of rushing. Even if it means arriving 5 minutes later, but with peace in your heart. Ask yourself, am I beginning my day in excess or in alignment? Am I feeding my soul or just feeding a habit? Temperance helps you slow down, act with intention, and meet the day with grace, not greed. Together, these 4 virtues create the bedrock of a Stoic morning. Wisdom brings clarity, courage brings action, justice brings purpose, temperance brings balance. And the beauty of this practice? You do not need to be an emperor to live this way. You simply need to begin each day in the spirit Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself with. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of? If I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do. That is the power of Stoic virtue. That is the strength of a day started well. Part 4. Staying consistent. Making the Stoic morning routine a habit. Approximate 500 to 600 words. Starting a Stoic morning routine, inspired by Marcus Aurelius, is powerful, but it's consistency that makes it transformative. One day of clarity is good. A lifetime of it, that's freedom. The question is, how do we stay consistent in a world of distractions, unpredictability, and fatigue? Even Marcus himself admitted in Meditations that he didn't always feel like rising at dawn, but he still did, because he believed in who he was becoming, not just what he felt in the moment. Let's look at how we can make this routine a steady rhythm in modern life. 1. Understand the why. Purpose fuels discipline. Discipline without purpose fades quickly. If you're doing this just to be productive, the routine will feel like a burden. But if you see it as a path to inner peace, mental strength, and alignment with your highest self, everything changes. Marcus Aurelius began each day by reminding himself of his purpose: to be a good human being, to serve, to rise above temptation and emotion. That's what pulled him out of bed, even when he didn't want to. So before you build the habit, return to the why. Ask yourself, who do I want to become through this practice? What values do I want to live out? Starting each morning, write it down. Make it real. Let that be your anchor when motivation fades. 2. Start small and build slowly. A Stoic routine doesn't need to be long or elaborate. In fact, if you try to do too much too soon, you'll burn out. Marcus's practice was simple: reflection, intention, virtue. His power wasn't in quantity, it was in quality. Begin with just 10 minutes. Wake up, sit in silence, write a short reflection. Ask, what is in my control today? How can I live with virtue? When that becomes natural, add more. A few Stoic readings, a mindful walk, a quiet breakfast, but never rush it. This is about grounding, not impressing. Let the habit grow into you, not overwhelm you. 3. Create ritual, not routine. A routine is a checklist. A ritual is sacred. What made Marcus's mornings meaningful was not just repetition, it was reverence. He treated his inner life with seriousness. He didn't just check boxes. He connected with himself deeply. So light a candle. Use a specific pen for your journaling. Read from the same copy of meditations. These small actions turn mornings into moments, and moments into meaning. When something feels sacred, you'll return to it more often. 4. Embrace imperfection, but always return. No habit is perfect. Some mornings you'll oversleep. Some days you'll forget to journal. That's life. But here's the Stoic response. Do not judge yourself. Do not quit. Simply return. Marcus Aurelius never claimed perfection. He wrote to himself to remind, to realign, to begin again. And so can you. If you miss a morning, don't spiral. Don't abandon the process. Just come back. Quietly, humbly, consistently. Because mastery is not about never falling. It's about always rising. 5. Let the results speak. As the days pass, you'll notice something subtle. You respond to stress with more calm. You feel less pulled by impulse. You stop seeking validation and start standing in truth. This is what a Stoic morning routine does, not in one day, but in 1,000 quiet mornings. It rewires your soul. Marcus Aurelius didn't build an empire by accident. He built it by waking up, reflecting, and returning to what mattered, again and again. So if you want to live a life of clarity, control, and calm, the morning is your gateway. Return to it. Protect it. Let it reshape you. Because the most powerful routines are not the loudest. They are the most faithful. Part 5. Journaling like Marcus. Daily reflections that build inner peace. Approximate 500 to 600 words. To understand Marcus Aurelius is to understand the power of quiet reflection. Meditations wasn't written to be published. It was his private journal. His thoughts, his battles, his reminders. Each entry was a return to himself. And that's what Stoic journaling is. A daily practice of self-honesty and alignment. In the noise of modern life, journaling is where clarity begins. Let's explore how you can create a journaling practice inspired by Marcus that anchors your mornings in peace and purpose. 1. Begin with self-honesty, not performance. Marcus never wrote to impress. His words weren't polished, they were raw. He questioned his anger. He confronted his ego. He reminded himself of what mattered. Your journal is not a place to be perfect. It's a place to be real. There's no audience, no expectations. Just you, showing up for your inner self. Ask, where am I struggling today? What emotions are clouding my judgment? How can I live by virtue, even when it's hard? Be gentle. Be direct. Let the page be your mirror. 2. Reflect on Stoic principles. Journaling becomes transformative when it's guided by timeless wisdom. Each morning, take a short quote from meditations and reflect on it. What does it mean to you today? How can you apply it? For example, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Now write, what events are outside my control today? How can I respond with clarity instead of fear? Let Marcus be your mentor. Let his words stir your own. 3. Use the 4 virtues as daily pillars. Stoicism is grounded in 4 core virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Each morning, reflect on 1. Wisdom. What do I need to understand more deeply? Courage. Where do I need to take brave action? Justice. Who do I need to treat fairly or forgive? Temperance. How can I practice moderation and self-control? These aren't just ideas, they're guideposts for living. By writing about them, you bring them into your day. 4. Ask the Stoic morning questions. Here's a simple framework to follow each morning, inspired by Marcus. What am I grateful for today? What challenges might I face? And how will I respond with virtue? What do I need to let go of to stay grounded? What is truly in my control today? These questions ground you in perspective. They soften anxiety. They clear the mental fog. They bring you back to you. 5. Don't judge, just return. Some mornings, the words will flow. Others, they won't. That's okay. The power isn't in perfect entries, it's in consistent ones. Like Marcus, you're not writing to impress anyone. You're writing to center yourself, to stay aligned. If you miss a day, return. If you struggle with thoughts, write them anyway. This is a lifelong dialogue with your inner self. Let your journal be a sanctuary, a place to release, to process, to remember. Because in a world that pulls us outward, journaling pulls us inward, and that's where peace begins. Conclusion. The morning is not just the start of your day. It is the opening note to the music you are about to compose. Marcus Aurelius understood this. Every sunrise brought with it the same reality. Another day of duty, challenge, and choice. As emperor, he faced wars, illness, betrayal. Yet, before he stepped into the chaos of the Roman Empire, he sat with himself. He returned to silence, to discipline, to reflection. You can do the same. A Stoic morning routine is not about doing more. It's about being more present, more intentional, more grounded in virtue, even before the world makes its demands on you. It's about starting your day with clarity, not just checking your phone, with presence, not pressure, with purpose, not panic. This routine is not rigid. It's not about perfection. Some mornings will feel off. That's all right. The Stoic path is not walked in a straight line. It's practiced through returning, again and again. When you wake with awareness, when you breathe with calm, when you reflect on what you can control and release what you cannot, you are no longer a prisoner of your day. You are its master, and that changes everything. Marcus left us a map, a guide not only to lead an empire, but to lead the self, to wake with integrity, to face each day with quiet strength. And that is what we carry forward now, not as philosophers in robes, but as everyday people who choose to begin our mornings with intention, with courage, and with peace. Because how you begin shapes how you live. And as Marcus Aurelius wrote, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Let that be your first thought tomorrow.